So now I want to get into more depth about the head. These are a couple of 5-minute Conte drawings of the head sped up, and the first thing I'm doing is starting light and mapping out the features, because placing those features well is the most important thing. But I do want to talk about the features in more detail, because we are going to spend a little time on them. So I want to start with the eye. So your eye is basically a wet sphere nested in fat. You have an eye socket that your eye rests in, and your eyebrow tends to grow along the top part of that socket. In the middle of your eye, you have pupil and iris, and then the sclera around that, the white of your eye. But the white of your eye is not white. Don't think of it as white or like color it in with Prismacolor white. It'll be way too light. Also, don't forget the top plane of the lower eyelid. Don't put a big dark line all the way around the eye. You notice the outside of the eye, top lid over the bottom lid. You also don't want to make your eye symmetrical like a football eye. You have a couple of examples here. Here's how Loomis thinks of it. By the way, this is a right eye, so the nose would be to the right of this. So the way Loomis thinks of it is as a straight line at the outside on the top and a curved line on the inside at the top. And then on the bottom, the opposite, a curved line at the outside and a straight line at the inside. There's another way to think of it. Here's Peck, another artist, the way he's thinking of it. And this red line going down to the eye isn't a don't, it's an axis line. So don't think of that red line as a don't, but rather he's looking for where those curves turn a corner. Another important thing about the eye is that it's spherical. So as you're drawing the lids, opening and closing, remember that spherical form and have it curve over the eye. For the mouth, we're going to focus on the mouth at rest. And you'll notice that Loomis divides it up a little bit like the keystone in the middle with 2 ellipses on the outside for the upper lip and 2 little ovoids for the bottom lip. Peck, again, likes to look for these axis angles, so he divides the lip up by looking for where these curves turn a corner. And that little 1, 2, 3 at the left is from seeing a Raphael show. So the little 1, 2, and 3 are the 3 lines that Raphael tended to use a lot when he was drawing quickly to show the down plane of the top lip. And that kind of shorthand can be super useful. These old masters really knew their structure, so learn from them and study their shorthand. It can really help you out. So let's look at the nose. So the nose has some parts to it, your wing, your apex, your septum, and your nostril. But it's much easier to start by looking at the nose as planes changing direction. The down plane, underneath the nose being the darkest, and then you have a side plane, a front plane, and another side plane. So think of it as planes changing direction. You don't want to start with a nostril. That tends to tip the nostrils up and make them look more pig nose. So I always look for the down plane of the nose and then the other one. So let's look at the ear. So your ear is a thin plate of crumpled cartilage, which can look kind of complicated. But if we look at the concha and the lobe, we can see that they're roughly the same height. And the overall ear, if we take it as sort of an egg shape, let's say you make an egg-shaped cookie with a bite taken out of it, you can divide it into thirds. The concha, the middle third, the lobe, the bottom third, and the rest of the ear, the top third. So I hope some of these structural things will help you understand and make simpler decisions about drawing the head. Now let's start from scratch with a live model. All right, so now we're going to focus on a longer drawing of the head, although those 10 minutes were actually pretty good. When we get into a longer drawing of the head, we don't want to start with the left eye and hope things look okay by the time we get to the bottom of the face. We still want to start with large things overall. So I want to map out the overall shapes. I want to look for the big things. I want to look for even like a center line of the face and a brow line, if it helps me map it out. I don't want to put those lines in dark. I want to keep them light. So I'm just gonna start to make a map. So brow line, I'm thinking of the eye sockets, right? Looking for the overall structures where the nose starts to face down and the top lip. Right, I want to keep the features aligned. That's why it's good to, even if you don't dig in these lines, kind of checking where they are is really useful. Start to get the shape of the head. And I'm moving from part to part. I'm not going to stop on one feature. I want to keep moving around the head. because I don't want to, when you start to go like this on one detail, you get kind of lost in it, and it's easy to lose sight of the overall features of the head. And getting big things in the right place is what will make it look like a head or not. So you want to keep, I'm staying with like an underhanded grip, makes it easier to stay light. I know this is a little hard to see right now, it'll be clearer soon. I just don't want to dig in too hard and be stuck with it. I'm gonna, let's see. Now I'm starting to switch. So your eyes from the front, again, are about 1 eye apart. Your head's about 5 eyes wide, although she's looking slightly to the left, so I have it a little more compressed on this side. And now I'm going to start erasing some of the things I got wrong. Again, that's another reason to start light, is to build some fallibility into your process, right? So you can have more forgiveness built in. With the shape of the eye, I want to be careful not to have like a football eye that's symmetrical on the top and bottom, right? Anytime you have two curves on the body that are the same on both sides of a form, you should double check it, because it's probably wrong. Usually we're not symmetrical. So if this is the middle between the eyes, middle of the nose, middle of the mouth, I want to be careful about that stuff from the outset, right? I don't want things to start to drift around, like I threw some rose petals onto some water and then it starts drifting around. They start to drift out of shape. So I'm moving from one part of the face to the next and just trying to get the big things in the right place. So that's why it's starting light. So the longer drawing you're going to do, the longer I'm going to stay light. Because I want to be able to change things. And I'm really starting with value. I'm not like drawing lines around all the shapes. Squinting can be good to help you see large areas of light and dark. Also with the nose, your nose has planes, a front plane and side planes. I don't want to circle the nose, right? Like Bert from Sesame Street, right? I think he looks something like this. So don't make a little Bert nose and circle both sides of the nose. Let's see. Be careful about the shape of the eye. I want to start maybe checking that things are in good proportion. Now that I've got a little bit of information everywhere, I can start digging things in a little bit more. Again, I'm staying light a pretty long time, so I want to be very careful. So I'm looking at the shape of the overall eye socket, right? Almost like sunglasses. Your eyebrow grows along the upper orbit of your eye socket, and then you tend to take light on the bottom. So even though I've circled it, it's going to be light right here on her cheekbone as it faces up. Right, we have sort of a keystone in between the eyes. We want to sort of look at the shape right here. Check proportion. It looks like I may have gotten the nose a little low. So actually, I'm going to go ahead and nudge him up. It's good I stayed light, because I think I had both of those a little bit off. That's a little bit better. So it hurts a little bit when it starts to look okay and then you erase it, but that's good in a way. Because again, if it hurts a little bit, you're going to remember, and it helps you improve over time. Right? It'll help you remember what you should have gotten right. And if you think maybe you should move it or you're not sure, that means that you should, right? Because you kind of know already if you're already thinking that. So now, I just really want to squint and look at the big shapes of light and dark. Right? You want to build the eye into the socket. I want to keep an eye out for the top plane of the lower eyelid, right? Because it faces up and then the eyelash is right below that. So you don't want to circle the eye with a dark line like a football eye, right? It'll keep it looking really flat. So, starting to work my way around the features. Again, the cast shadow is darker than shade. So right here on the nose, that shadow to the right of the nose, right here, is going to be a little darker than the shade on the nose. So, right, if you want to circle where things go from, or outline, like right here is where she goes from light to dark. If I'm going to make a line to show that, I want to keep that line pretty light so that my cross-hatching, the shadow can be, so I don't have like a hard line around it like this, right? I don't want to do that because it makes like a stripe on the form. Now, I'm starting to get everything shaped. Now, when I'm starting to look at the overall shape of the head, I want to look for where it changes direction. So the cheekbones right here changes direction, the jaw right here, and the chin, forehead, and top of the head. Those are places where the head changes direction, so they're good places to look for structure. So now I want to go ahead and start throwing in the hair. That's a little closer. Also, it's good to get back from your drawings in general. I'm drawing big enough that I should get back from it a little bit every once in a while. I'm not doing that enough, probably. There's a rule of thumb that you want to be 3 times the greatest dimension of a thing away from it to see it without any distortion. So her ears are on the bottom of her nose. Top of the ear is aligned with like about her eye from where I am. The general rule is like the brow line, top of the ear, bottom of the nose, bottom of the ear, but that presupposes the head is level with yours. Right? If someone's looking up or down, it's kind of like sunglasses, right? So now let me just throw in some of the darks for the hair. Let's get nice, like, strong jaw, high cheekbones. The eye shape looks a little off. So I've got almost all my shadows laid in. So again, your time's really well spent on those first parts where it doesn't really look, where you're just mapping things out, because your map is very important. When we see someone we recognize them, you recognize them way before you see details. Right? So again, the cast shadow's darker than shade. So here on her neck, even though her neck's coming towards me a little bit, it looks fairly straight from where I am. So the cast shadow under the chin is a little bit darker than the shade on her chin, right? So this under here, a little bit darker than this. One thing people do sometimes is sort of circle the face, right? You don't want to do that because it makes it kind of like a mask. We don't want to make it look like a mask. So don't circle the whole face with a hard outline. It'll flatten out the head. So I'll start to... I almost should have gone closer to you for this, but... All right, so now I've got I just keep fixing everything I see that needs to be fixed. I just got a little bit of hair that shows behind over here, which is good. Over here, this is pretty dark. Now, the darkest darks I see are actually on, I guess it'd be her hair over here, and the shadow side is pretty dark. So before I want to decide how dark my darkest dark's going to be, it's a good sort of safe place for it, because I'm not that worried about the drawing over here. I can go ahead and dig it in, like insize the drawing tool in pretty hard and not be as worried about the drawing as I would be in the eyes, for example. Right, so I'm doing it on tone paper. Again, a lot of really great portrait artists. Van Dyck, Velázquez use this technique, kind of black and white on tone paper. I'm using red and white on a warm paper. So this is like the foundation for the drawing, kind of the most important part in a way. So I'm going to switch to time lapse and build it up a little bit more. But this is really like the most important thing to get right, is just placing the features. Now switching over to time lapse, making some more decisive darks, and continually trying to fix things, because the eyes on my drawing were a little out of proportion at the outset, which was good to leave in so you guys can see me fixing it later. And now building up the whites to give her more contrast than what's behind her. And we can look at other examples. Here's another head from close up, so you can see building up the eye sockets, looking at the planes of the face. We'll look at this model too from another angle. And you can see a lot of my lines in there where I'm working things out, trying to place the features of the head. And this is a head on a larger figure drawing. So I hope this is useful. Head drawing's difficult and a lot of fun.